Yes, I think it's the right place. Where do I think Watson winds up? I think Miami if they want him. I don't think anyone can compete with Miami in the package they can offer him. I think the Bears are actually the best long-term play, and I'll tell you why. And this is why I brought this up like in the beginning of January. The Chicago Bears and that fan base are as rabid as any football fan base in the world. Guys, just remember going back to the 80s, that Saturday Night Live skit, or maybe it was the early 90s, right? The Bears, remember all that? That was in the middle of Michael Jordan's prime. He was three-peating every time you turned around, but all they could talk about in popular culture was the Bears because Chicago cares more about that than anything else. Than anything. And this franchise, the Bears, who have the greatest team of all time, the 85 Bears, have never gotten quarterback right my entire life. I'm not from Chicago, but, in my entire life. But wait, the Bears are crazy about football. They're one of the original football franchises, and the 85 Bears never gotten the quarterback right. Jay Cutler's probably like the third best quarterback they've ever had in my lifetime. Jay Cutler. They've never gotten it right. And they're Super Bowl stars. Chicago's point of view, obviously, you want Deshaun Watson, you get quarterback right, but you also get to run back that draft where you messed it up with Trubisky. You passed on Watson. No, you get Deshaun Watson back. Stephen A., if they get Deshaun Watson, they put a few offensive line pieces together, that team would be ready to win now with that defense. It makes a whole lot of sense.
I love Chicago's defense. It's a damn shame that they've been subjected to Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles over the last season or two. You wish that they were better offensively because that defense is real. It's just that your offense does nothing for you, and ultimately you get tired from being overexposed, having to be on the field to cover for the mistakes that they make or the inefficiencies that they put forth, and as a result, the defense suffers. I get that. But you, Deshaun Watson, you can't be thinking about going to no damn Chicago. You can't be. Don't even think about it. He's got a no-trade clause. I mean, he's got a say in where the hell would you go. Listen, I like Allen Robinson. I do. David Montgomery is a 1,000-yard rusher. He's not a scrub. Tyreek Cohen, I'm a fan of his. Yep. All right, I get all of that, all right? These are not all world players, but they can ball. They can ball. They're respectable. It's too damn cold in Chicago to be going there, Max. Are you crazy? You can't be Deshaun Watson and go to the Windy City. What's wrong with y'all? Oh no.
Just thinking about Chicago.
I happen to know that Deshaun Watson watches me. He watches me on First Take. He watches me on Stephen A's World. He sees what I do. Listen, Deshaun Watson, do not think about going to Chicago. Max Kellerman, let me tell you something. Chicago is a marvelous city. I love Chicago. Chicago has been very, very good to me. I must admit, but I got to tell you something. That's from June to September. Come October, all the way through May. It's too damn cold. You can't have Deshaun Watson going there. I mean,
it's too hot in the summer.
And at Soldiers Field, Max, this man can actually throw a football, and that bad boy might wave into the fans. The wind might take it right there. It might take it right to Lake Michigan. You don't know that. You can't be in that kind of situation. You can't expose yourself to, especially when you got options like Miami, potentially, San Francisco, potentially, even though that cold weather coming out of the Bay in the Pacific Ocean ain't no joke either. Plus, you got great whites and all of that stuff in there, but that's a different subject for another day. I'm just saying. I'm thinking about New York, media capital of the world. I'm thinking about Miami. Miami's number one. That's the number one option. You can't have options like that or Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco with George Kittle and Deebo Samuels and those boys and decide to go to the Windy City. He can't do that.
If you
stay
go
the hell away from Chicago.
San Francisco's more ready to win.
You're a quarterback. Stay the hell away from Chicago.
San Francisco's more ready to win. No argument there. And it's an excellent spot for Deshaun if he winds up there. No one can compete with Miami. Miami, no state income tax, warm weather. Yes. Team that's ready to win, et cetera. Miami wins that.
About
but
the weather
if you want to
and
be,
and that, how about winning football games?
If you want to be an icon,
we gotta go.
unlike anyone else. Go to Chicago, win a Super Bowl.
You want to be an icon? You win rings.
This
All
is
right,
the UConn.
LA gets crushed by the Jazz, fellas. We'll ask Big Perk. Yeah, UConn, we win lots of rings. You know what it is, Mr. Smith? Do the Lakers deserve a pass? And is it time for Brad Stevens to be on the hot seat? We get into Boston's collapse. Stay right here. It's First Take.
Having people doubt him now, not having a franchise quarterback under contract, people saying, well, it was more Tom than it was you, and that whole damn debate. I don't care how many Super Bowls he's been to or how many he has won. I promise you, he is sitting somewhere right now going, okay. But I would bet he has now this year, I'll bet he comes out firing in a way you haven't seen in a long time.
There he is, Louis Riddick making bold predictions. Bill Belichick versus everybody. I'm with it. Stephen A., do you agree with Louis here that Bill's going to go scorched earth?
No, I think that he'll have that kind of attitude. He's Bill Belichick and he's great, but it don't mean a damn thing if he don't have a quarterback. Louis Riddick can sit up there and talk about Bill Belichick all he wants to with the 8 championships and 6 as a head coach. You understand? But last time I checked, Bill Belichick can't go out on the field, kneel behind center, drop back, and throw the damn football from the quarterback position. He has to hope somebody can do it for him. Now, Bill Belichick being the genius that he is, and no one would dare question that, his coaching resume speaks for itself, and I would never try to impugn that because he's phenomenal. But the bottom line is that you can put dudes in the right place to win all the time. They've got to execute. Who's going to execute? That's the question mark. I'm quite sure Bill Belichick sees things before they do. Doesn't matter. Can't stop them from seeing what they see. Can't stop them from doing what they do. You can do your best, but ultimately it doesn't work. Now, obviously, when we look at the Patriots last year, you had 8 dudes that called out for the season because of COVID-19. They didn't want to participate. And I think that had a devastating impact, which is why I think that Bill Belichick did a damn good job last year. And he's not to be, he's not to be insulted in any way. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is this. I don't want to hear about Bill Belichick and Scorcher. You mad. You mad. Well, hell, when have you looked happy? I don't recall Bill Belichick looking happy much. Okay, unless it's on Championship Sunday after winning the Super Bowl. That day, but all of those days preceding that day, he never looked happy any damn way. So what Louis Riddick is saying doesn't mean much to anybody else. Bill Belichick always looks that way. He always looks like he's ready to go scorched earth. He always looks motivated and unhappy and a bit truculent and acerbic and all of those other words that you want to throw out. It don't make a damn bit of difference. At the end of the day, that man needs a quarterback. He needs a quarterback, and the GM, that's Bill Belichick, needs to get whatever quarterback he chooses weapons to actually throw the football to. That's what he needs. All of that scorched earth stuff don't mean nothing. Don't mean a thing.
Well, I agree about the quarterback because the league has favored quarterbacks in the passing game to the point where it's a little less about coaching and a little more about talent than it used to be, I think, in the NFL, especially on offense. But I'm with Louis Riddick on this one. Louis, I'm with you. Bill Belichick, first of all, look what he was working with last year. 8 guys off the team to start the season who opted out because of COVID, including Hightower and Chung. Gilmore missed a bunch of games. I mean, these are the best defensive players they got. And they didn't have anything on offense. Name one offensive player that the Patriots had that another team would want to start on their team. Name one guy. You have any tight ends or wideouts that people are like, yeah, I want that guy? Or running backs? Not a single guy. So they had nothing on offense. And now they have a quarterback rehabbing off a catastrophic injury who just missed a year. And Stephen A., you religiously say, not a thrower of the football really ever at an elite level, right? With that dude, who then himself got COVID. So now you got a new quarterback in a totally new system, the exact opposite of the guy you just had, rehabbing from an injury, missed a year, got to learn a new system, and you can't practice. You're missing your whole defense, and you can't practice. And then that dude gets COVID. So now you got to not only miss the quarterback, and it lingers, right, the effects of COVID on his play, but you got to shut down the facilities. You can't even walk through stuff. It's impossible. Now, Louis, in spite of all this, the reason I'm with you, they won 7 games. They beat the Ravens. They beat Arizona. They beat the Raiders. They beat Miami. They came a play away from beating Buffalo and a play away from beating Seattle.